telling you, if you got any DOMs, you know what I'm saying? Any kind of crazy soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness, especially. I was doing freaking Romanian deadlifts the other day with a trap bar. Up to 200 pounds times 10. Brutal. I did the same ass workout last week. Didn't get that sore. I don't know what I did differently, but I'm sore as fuck today. But emergency with the water and a nice hearty freaking breakfast. I just woke up. That's why I look like a fucking animal right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to look pretty in a second. I gotta decline to train in about an hour and a half. You know? About to shave, keep the mustache, comb the hair, shower, all that. You know, I could talk y'all after all that, but I'm buzzing right now, man. Again, I just woke up, got the freaking dream juices still flowing in the brain. Feeling energetic and shit. So the time is now. I want to talk about a few things, man. Really just one topic in general, which is how to fucking improve yourself, you know, as an athlete, right? Specifically, I talk about climbing or bouldering, because that's what I'm doing lately, you know? I feel like I'm getting really freaking good, you know? Because I'm getting better at being my own coach and looking at myself as an athlete objectively. Okay. For a while, it was like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You know, I was like, hey, let me just spam weighted pull-ups to infinity. You know, let me spam freaking weighted hangs or whatever. You know, to infinity. And that's not a bad idea necessarily. But can only get you so far. If your footwork sucks, for instance, you know, if you got fuck all core strength, you know, if you never do antagonist work, your posture's all jacked up because your back is huge, but your pecs and you know interior shoulders are just friggin' minuscule. You know, you start getting joint pains and shit, then all of a sudden you're injured, and that'll plummet your progress like a mofo. Stuff like this, guys, you gotta think about. You know, I was at the gym today. This is why I'm thinking about this morning. I was at the gym. Sorry, yesterday. Yesterday, 2 days ago. Well, I don't know what the fuck's going on, guys. I just woke up. 2 days ago, I was at the gym, right? And there's this guy there who, looked familiar. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I know I don't know who this is because they're like, a college student or something. I'm over here with my middle-aged 35-year-old ass coming from a different state. But he looked familiar. Then I went home, you know, after watching this guy climb like a maniac. Went home and opened up freaking YouTube and clicked a little short video. It was the guy. I realized this freaking guy I had been subscribed to for like a freaking year. You know, he was, putting all kinds of videos of him on the kilter board or whatever, doing all kinds of whatever, V8, V9s, V10s, whatever the hell, yeah, stuff beyond my capabilities, you know. One arm lock offs from like 15 millimeter hangs or whatever. You know, crazy shit. 150-pound pull ups, um, one arm lock offs from a bar with like extra weight. You know, he's displaying all this insane strength and power. I'm like, that's pretty sick. I wonder, well, let's see what this guy, is up to. Like, I'm interested in his training. But whenever there's somebody like better than you know what I mean? It's a good idea to look at what they're doing, and see if you can get any ideas, any little tidbits of knowledge, and maybe apply that to your training and improve yourself. Mm. that raspberry is hidden. Anyway, I'm looking through his like videos. I see his outdoor videos, you know, and he's punting off of like V5s. I think V4 was the highest grade I've seen this guy climb outside. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? You know, he's doing all these like ridiculous dynos on the kilter board. He's doing all these, you know, again, 100% body weight added to him, pull ups, shit like this, you know, hanging from 15 millimeters in one arm. You know, the guy's like twice as strong as me. So I expect him to be twice the climber. But that's the thing, man. There's a difference between outdoor climbing and indoor climbing. And also there's a difference between being really fucking good at, you know, jumping and cutting feet and hitting small holds. Like that's a specific skill that I kind of suck at. There's a difference between that and like climbing with good footwork, like, you know, doing intricate moves to tiny holds and shit like that. When I see the dude climbing outside, I'm not even talking about, you know, this is like 5 years ago. This is like recent videos. He's on like, you know, a V7, for instance, and he's trying to skip moves because he can't keep a heel hook. You know, he's trying to do a dyno because he can't fucking hit this little crimp, you know, from a fucking Rose move, you know? And he'd say he's failing. Either way, yeah, either method he, you know, tries, the static way or the dynamic way, he's failing. And he's flailing and he's falling. And it really, really hit me again, you know, something I already knew, but this is reinforcing kind of what I knew already. Uh, that strength training is not everything, dude. You know? And if you're already very strong, it's not going to really affect you that well. You're not going to get a big benefit if you're already very strong to just pile more strength on top of that, right? It's like imagine you got like a character, you're like in a video game or something. You know, you got your strength, defense, agility, you know, hit points, whatever the fuck, magic points. You know, we'll call that like a skill or something. This guy's build is like fucking 90% strength, you know, and then it's like fucking just seems to be minimal everywhere else. Now, is that necessarily a bad thing? Not really, because I'm sure you could find like a V12 or something. It's just like maybe one giant dyno. And you know, that's his style. He could fucking send that and call himself a V12 climber. But he seems to be trying, you know, boulders that have nothing to do with what he's good at. So in that case, it's like, dude, you gotta fucking work on your footwork, you gotta work on your fucking core tension, you gotta do something else. It's all strength training. Ain't doing shit to climb this fucking, you know, intricate, you know, 20 move V4. When you're doing fucking, you're like, you know, you can't do a 150-pound pull up on these little fucking crimps because they're just gonna fall, you know? There's some moves that are just impossible, no matter how strong you are, if you don't have the correct body positioning. You know, that's something you gotta learn by just climbing outside more or trying moves that require, you know, very specific body positioning and very specific, intricate, like footwork. So, anyway, just thinking about shit like that, you know, you really gotta try to look at yourself objectively if you're gonna be your own coach anyway. And yeah, man, quit. You know, man, I think in America especially, we have this fucking mindset of just like, no matter what we're doing, we're gonna fucking plow straight through. You know, I think it's why lifting weights is so popular. I think it's why like powerlifting is so popular. Everybody just thinks being a better athlete means I'm stronger, when there's a lot more, going on, especially with something very skill based like bouldering and rock climbing. Uh, so yeah, man. And I've seen some other sports too. I've participated in like martial arts, even grappling, which you'd think, oh well, if you're super strong, you'd be a good wrestler, right? Kind of. That's one aspect of it. But I remember being, lighter than I am now, like probably 140 pounds, and wrestling guys twice my size, wrestling guys who, could bench press like 400 plus pounds, you know? And I couldn't even feel their strength because they had no fucking coordination. Their reflexes sucked. They were too fucking slow. Even if they knew proper technique, they couldn't apply it because, again, fuck all coordination, no speed, you know what I mean? No rotational strength, you know what I mean? Strength in like the wrong places too. No fucking rotational strength at all. Zero flexibility. I had one guy who was like 240 pounds. I remember wrestling with back in the day, and I managed to get on top of him, and I grapevined his legs. Okay, if you're a grappler, you know what I'm talking about. But essentially, I kind of intertwined my legs with his, so he wasn't able to bridge his hips up and bump me off of him. Right, so I kind of flattened him out that way and kind of straightened his legs out by wrapping mine like around his knees and straightening mine out, you know what I mean, with the power of my hips and all that shit. And his like internal external hip rotation was so bad that he tapped out from that. His knees couldn't take it. Shit like that, man. You gotta think sometimes, am I strong? Or am I just really good at bench pressing? Am I just really good at squatting? Am I just really good at deadlifting? There's strength is very specific, guys. If you ain't got no fucking flexibility, you're gonna tap to all kinds of shit. You get yourself in a fucking, Americana, and you can't even go this far, and you're tapping. It's not good. But if you got all kinds of flexibility, you can fucking go all the way back here, and you're still comfortable. You can still fight it. You can still counter it. Mm. Anyway, time to get ready. Gonna shower, shave, shit, all that good stuff. Y'all take care again, man. Look at yourself objectively. What are your goals? What are your weaknesses? How can you get stronger? Don't think what are my strengths? How can I maximize my strengths? You know, Unless you're just a pure strength athlete. Think about what are my fucking weaknesses? What can I actually improve upon, to get that big picture of like athletic development. Okay. That's what it's all about. I've been working on my footwork like a motherfucker lately, and I am feeling pretty damn good. I'm even fucking in the 50-degree cave at the gym, not fucking cutting feet at all, just fucking dialing in. Hips and legs getting sore, you're doing shit right, guys, if your hips and your legs and your calves and shit, ankles and toes are getting sore from climbing fucking overhang. That's what's up. Anyway, take care. Peace out.